Kiley Pet. I'm a singer-songwriter here in Idaho Falls. I moved here from Virginia in 2017, and the first song I'm going to play I actually wrote in 2022 when I was visiting my parents in Virginia, and it's kind of about my journey of moving from Virginia to Idaho. It's called Things That Were Easy. All the time I spent with friends in the forest in my backyard. Summer storms drenched me in rain with a garden in my front yard. And on hot sunny days I would drink the air as moisture filled my lungs. I dreamt I'd go somewhere. I dreamt of far from there. This place I called my home never felt like mine. So much did shape me, but I wanted more, something grander to my eyes. So I took my chance and ran out to the west, above enchanted land. I landed in the gems, where in the rivers pours hot springs, and in the alpine grows huckleberries. There's so many places to be alone, though more traffic is coming along. Yeah, there's always more traffic coming along. I drive by open spaces, past mountains with snow, and for a moment I forget the things I now know. How things that were easy, they made life go wrong. Now there's always more troubles coming along. Yeah, there's always more troubles coming along. With huckleberries, I drive by open spaces, past mountains with snow, and for a moment I forget these burdens that grow. How things that were easy, they made life go wrong. Now there's always more troubles coming along. Yeah, there's always more troubles coming along. There's always more troubles coming along. Yeah, there's always more troubles coming along. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Miss Kiley Pet, give her.
Thank you. This next song I also wrote in 2020-22 towards the end of that summer. I was actually taking a shower when the lyrics came to me, and that's fun because then it's like, okay, I need to repeat them in my head over and over so that when I get out of the shower, I can still remember them. And then the rest of the song came right after the shower. It is called Mountain Shadows. It's a song about heartbreak powered by nature imagery. The hint of springtime, the melting dew, soft rays of sunshine, new light bleeds through, it's crisp like morning and warms with time. But these threads we tether, sometimes they fray and unwind. Some age like treasure, some harden like stone, where once felt shelter, now left to the great alone. The depths we wandered, I will not again go, 'cause you were just passing through, like mountain shadows, and the flowers when they stop to bloom, like flowing water. Summer light fades to the dark of a new moon. A love that doesn't stay, it fades away too soon. Like mountain shadows, mountain shadows. Pull off the blossoms and forget that life's at their roots. Fall into branches, gentle turns to fervor and venom is diffused. Gray rock cut scratches and leaves your skin bruised. The stinging nettle and roses grow their thorns. The final petal, pull it off and say that love's no more, 'cause you were just passing through, like mountain shadows, and the flowers when they stop to bloom, like flowing water. Summer light fades to the dark of a new moon. A love that doesn't stay, it fades away too soon, like mountain shadows, mountain shadows. Summer light fades to the dark of a new moon. A love that doesn't stay, it fades away too soon, like mountain shadows, mountain shadows, mountain shadows, mountain shadows. Thank you. This last song I wrote a few months ago towards the end of 2023. It started off as a poem, and then I put music to it later. It's called Everywhere. I am not right here with the bustle that stings in my ears, where the noise is so loud but says nothing, and the silence teeters with fear. I am not right here, where the echoes haunt what I hear. My living corpse has stammered, tightened, I can't shed my tears. I am not right here. I am not right here. Polymers forged to the bloodstream. Perpetual chaos can't stop. Longingly look in the mirror, then press towards the elusive top. But the thoughtful will fall to the bottom, and our hearts bleed out what is born, enveloped deep in the darkness. Then we will be reborn. So now I'm everywhere. Now I'm everywhere. Now I'm everywhere. In the face, looking back in your mirror. At the bottom of the sea, all the molecules in between. I am everywhere. I am everywhere. Up the atmospheric stairs. In the child fast asleep, in each teardrop released. I am everywhere. I am everywhere. I am everywhere. To the core, burning deep in the promises we keep. I am everywhere. I am everywhere. Right here and over there. In the child fast asleep, in the promises we keep. I am everywhere. Thank you.
Miss Kiley Pet, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Welcome to the Film Garage concert series.
Thank you.
You knocked it out of the park today.
That
Congratulations.
was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Did you have a good time?
Oh, yeah. It was so fun playing with you guys.
Well, we loved the tunes. It was really just our pleasure to have you.
Thank
you. Maybe a good place to start is, how did you get started in music? Like, give us a little bit of your history and your background.
So I started playing music at a young age, but not the way I play music now. I started taking classical violin lessons at age 7, and mainly did a lot of classical violin lessons. I did do a little fiddling.
Were you a good violin student?
I was.
Yeah.
I was pretty dedicated, but I didn't realize it until more recently that my heart wasn't truly in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that around middle school when I started playing in orchestras, and there was a middle school orchestra that some of my peers joined, and some of them were surpassing me without even a year of them playing. And I started playing at age 7.
Gotcha.
And so that was like, whoa, what's going on
A little bit of a rude awakening.
Yeah. But then I think that was actually a valuable lesson that I'm still taking in to now of just where we're at is where we're at, and not comparing ourselves to others on their journey and how valuable that is. But yeah, it started out with just classical violin lessons, which I liked but did not necessarily love. And I started playing in orchestras too, and that's where I had a lot of my friendships throughout high school, and that was cool. I will say that when I was 11, I participated in a fiddling contest. So I did do a little bit of fiddling lessons, and it was at a county fair. I got second place, and the award I got was, a ribbon, but then also a $10 gift certificate to a music shop.
Wow.
And I was at the music shop, and, what can you buy with $10? I decided to buy a VHS on how to learn guitar, but I didn't have a guitar, but I decided to buy that VHS. So then I was like, now I have to buy a guitar.
So you made that was the cause right there.
That I think was the cause of the future, even if it was still a long road to get there.
Sure.
So I did purchase a guitar and pretty lackadaisically use that VHS, not really too diligently, just kind of taught myself chords here and there. And would, kind of forget about it for a while. And then in college, I started to play guitar just a little bit more. But really, it all changed for me in 2019. I attended the Grand Targhee Music Camp, which is a camp that happens not far from here, in August. And I signed up for fiddle lessons because, I'm pretty good at violin and fiddle. But really what stuck with me most were the elective classes I took and just some of the group activities. There was a man named Joe Craven who was very much focused on the creative process, and had some great conversations with him, went to an elective class from him that just kind of blew my mind. And I was actually staying down in Victor to save money at an Airbnb, and drove up to camp every day. It was only a 4-day camp. But as I was driving up the last day of camp, the first song I wrote came out of me. And it was very surreal. And that was where I found my path.
Fantastic. So let's maybe rewind just a little bit. So a young Kiley during that time of learning the violin and fiddle, like, what did you listen to back then? Like, what were your favorite artists? Any favorite records?
I didn't actually listen to a ton of music when I was young. I'll say the first CDs I ever purchased were the Lord of the Rings soundtracks when I was in middle school.
Great, it's great music.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. And then I started to listen to like punk rock, more so like influenced by my brother's interests.
Sure.
And then it was high school that I got into the music I play now, more mellow folk, indie music. And actually how I developed my singing voice was just singing along to my favorite songs by myself for about a decade. So then once I wrote a song and was like, I want to sing this song that I wrote, I had a decent voice.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so during that period, I mean, what would you, if you, not to say you sound like anyone, but what were some maybe influences in your craft and your art as far as things that maybe even today you borrow from?
So one of my first favorite folk musicians, who I still consider my favorite, although I don't listen to her as much, as Brandi Carlile. It's been so cool seeing some of those people, like when I first saw them live and where they're at now. And like, Brandi Carlile goes to the Grammys every year. And I remember seeing her at a mid-sized venue in my hometown in Virginia, and just sang her music nonstop all summer long after that college. Gregory Alan Isaacoff is another musician I love, and I got to see him for $7 in Roanoke, Virginia, front row, got to take a picture with him. And then this past summer, saw him, in the Eccles Theater in Salt Lake City, and just how much he's progressed, and how much money I spent on those tickets versus those $7 tickets. Dar Williams is another musician who really I was fond of in high school. Yeah, I mean, so many.
Oh, that's great. All great stuff, like the soundtrack to your life.
Yeah.
And so maybe tell us, what are you working on right now? Do you have any recording projects, any touring, anything that maybe you want to let people know that's in the works?
Yeah, so, this still all feels very new. It wasn't something that I expected to do, but I know this is what my soul wants to be doing, is music. In addition, I do have a day job that, I love at the same time, that I do part-time, so I can do more music. But I do, I have 2 songs released on streaming platforms.
And so just the standard platform, Spotify, Apple Music, any Bandcamp maybe?
I do have a SoundCloud where I have some demos, but the first song I released was in 2021, and then I just released another one in February of this year, and they were kind of a little bit more of the safer songs that I just, it's like, okay, I'm putting something out into the world, or I'm working with this producer. I want to see how they work and how we jive before I maybe do more projects. And now I have enough confidence. I'm still somewhat hesitant to talk about it, but I have an album planned, but my plan is to kind of work song by song, and that 60 to 75% of the album will be released as singles. And my hope is this summer, I started recording a song last week that my hope is actually to release 3 songs this year. I've had many different roadblocks throughout my journey in the past 4 years that I'm not attached to my plans. I have learned that you can make them, but don't be too attached, because things will unfold the way they're supposed to unfold. But I'm really looking forward to recording and releasing more music.
So hopefully we'll get a few tracks this year in 2024, and maybe the remainder next year in 2025.
Yeah.
And are these going to be kind of maybe larger productions, or more just you and guitar, kind of more intimate style arrangements?
A little bit more larger. I mean, there'll be some songs that are a little bit more stripped down, but I will say, for the most part, I'm gonna include other musicians on every track. I feel like I've made some really great friendships here with great musicians who are just really supportive, great producers that are my friends, that are also great musicians. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, a folk album, but there will be, some tracks that kind of are higher energy, have more layers, and some that are a bit stripped down. But I think everything will be a little bit beyond just, me playing guitar and singing.
So a pretty diverse arrangement and catalog on the record.
Yeah, that's my plan. I mean, I've never done something like this before, so I'm not entirely sure.
So this will be your first record?
My first album.
Fantastic.
Yeah. What's the difference between a record and an album?
I think it's interchangeable. Right?
Okay, because sometimes I'm like, is a record just a song?
Well, if you think in today, I mean, does that even really exist, right? Because we're all just moving around ones and zeros and streaming things. But I would say, in the traditional sense, an album being maybe a larger format, and a record could be a single, but I think people interchange those.
Okay, because I have a few singles out there, but an album, record is in the works.
And have you thought about any titles for that particular project?
Yes, that's something I'm not. I'll say. It's going to be one of the songs, and it is one of the songs we played tonight.
Oh, that's right. And we played 3 songs tonight.
Yeah, so you can guess.
Okay, so that's good. so we have something to look forward to, and when the concert is out, the Film Garage concert's out, people can guess which one's going to be the title track for the record.
Yeah, and if you know me well enough, I'll tell you. The idea of everybody knowing my plan right now is a bit whoa.
Well, you have some time.
Yeah.
Well, how can we kind of keep in touch with you, and maybe kind of keep track as far as the recording process and for future gigs and things? What's the best places for us to check in with you?
I'd say I'm most active on Instagram, my account Kiley Pet Music. I also have a Facebook page, Kiley Pet. Email, kileypetmusic@gmail.com. Another thing that I just started the account yesterday. I do plan to continue is Patreon. Not necessarily expecting I'm going to get a lot of patrons wanting to pay monthly.
Hey, you never know. After the concert, maybe you'll be flooded with patrons.
That would be nice. I mean, recording and producing an album is not cheap, and just any way that I can get some sort of financial support from people that, want to see this project come to be. But I also have learned some things about Patreon, and there's some free access too. But I think it's actually going to be a cool space, regardless of anyone's following, for me to kind of catalog and almost like a diary of my recording journey, and to post every mix as it evolves.
Sure.
And then, if people want to pay $3 a month, that's kind of what I'm planning to set it at, to have a more intimate view at my journey, like a backstage view. That would be great. But regardless, I think it's going to be a good space for me to just kind of, catalog in a more detailed way than how I share on social media.
Great. So Instagram, Facebook, and a future Patreon page is coming up.
Yeah.
Any concerts or any tours coming up that maybe you want to mention, or gigs?
So I play locally in a band right now. I sometimes do solo gigs. I probably will be playing a solo show at the Pride Festival this year. But the band I'm in, it's actually started as a duo, and now it's kind of a trio sometimes. It's called Wise as Serpents. And we got started about a year ago, and we play at Idaho Brewing Company and Black Rock. Our next show is April 20th at Black Rock. We'll also be playing a short little show, a short little set as part of a party for Independent Bookstore Day at Winnie and Moe's on.
And this is all in Idaho?
Yeah, just all here in Idaho Falls. But I'm just open to different opportunities to perform. And whenever I do have plans, I always share them on my social media. And I do hope that once, I have more of my own songs out in the album, that I can, plan a little tour. But, that's a little ways in the future.
Well, got a journey of 1,000 miles, right? First step.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you having you on the series. You did
Thank you so much
fantastic
for
tonight.
having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.